Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Community Spotlight. For those of you who still do not know what the Community Spotlight is, it's a series we do here on YouTube where I take you through a single map, a single creator, and a single video, all made around the glorious name of Stronghold. We also do a small Q&A afterwards where I take questions from the official Stronghold Facebook group. And if you want to go sign up and ask a question for a future episode, there'll be a link in the description below. Now, with all that out of the way, let's go on with the episode. Enjoy. First up is our creator, Lionheart. Lionheart's channel is mostly Total War focused, but does visit lots of great strategy games that you guys might be interested in. With series just recently dedicated to Jurassic World Evolution and 2 Point Hospital, while historical content is his mainstay, you can always expect to find some variety for our more adventurous commanders out there. Lionheart offers reviews, recommendations, tips, tricks, really everything that can be said about a strategy title, he'll cover it within a series. With some of his featured titles having let's plays that have been going on for over a year, like his Napoleon Total War series, you can bet that he finds every nook and cranny within a strategy title, even offering the occasional live action short in addition. Lionheart is a no-brainer for any strategy gamer. Our video for this episode is a Stronghold Kingdoms and Game of Thrones mashup. Editor Adrian Online has taken inspiration from the famous Game of Thrones title sequence and recreated it in our MMO Castle Simulator. Utilising some of our various kingdom promos and adding their own nifty After Effects skills, Adrian Online transports you through German kingdoms, visiting a variety of castles, either placing their foundations or repelling a great siege. Special thanks to Adrian Online for putting this together. We recommend it for any Kingdoms player out there preparing themselves for an intense session of besieging. One of the most viewed, recommended, and challenging maps from Stronghold Heaven, Ciervo's Island Siege is a trial for even the most veteran Stronghold player. As map creator Ciervo describes, the Lord Agatado and King Ciervo have a long history of envy and animosity towards each other. Years of warfare and misery have been a result of this. The Lord Agatado has built himself a nice little beach house on a secluded mountainous island. Your King Ciervo has decided he wants it for his very own. You have been charged with taking down the Lord Agatado and his garrison. The Lord Agatado has anticipated his move from your king and is prepared for your arrival. You will want to pull back to the beach immediately, and you might want to stay there. Treading lightly and cautiously is the order of the day. This island is heavily fortified, well guarded, and an all-around miserable place to be. The Lord Agatado is a tough adversary, devious, and a bit excessive. You can find the download link to Ciervo's Island Siege in the description below, but prepare yourself for quite the battle. Now onto the Q&A section. Again, we have Raleigh. Good to see you again, my friend. Can we see ships/boats on Stronghold Next, like we can use it for war, on sea, and fishing? To start off the Q&A on a downer, unfortunately not Raleigh. While we are adding new gameplay mechanics for Stronghold Next, ships unfortunately are not one of them, and it's just something we can't really put into production at this point. Maybe cosmetically, but there are no plans for Stronghold Next to have naval combat. However, to leave you on a positive, we'd love to integrate naval and just like commanding ships for future Stronghold titles. Pascal Mancy, will you reveal the game at the end of the year, around November, December, smiley face. So Pascal, you're gonna have to wait with everyone else for the Stronghold Next Q&A part 3 to officially announce it now. We are doing a part 3 to the Stronghold Next Q&A, which will give you the answer to the question everybody has been asking in the comment sections for all of our social media pages. Josh Hurrell, will there be a co-op versus AI function for Stronghold 2? So the ability to play against AI with your friends on Stronghold 2 is definitely something we looked into during production of the Steam edition, but unfortunately just the way Stronghold 2 is built, the code base it works from, it proved to be a massive undertaking that we just couldn't afford the resources and personnel to dedicate them to in the midst of production for Stronghold Next. That was something we would have loved to do, but due to our nature as a small indie studio, it just wasn't possible at the time. Como Del Pinto, how you doing, mate? Is Stronghold Next going to support 4K resolutions? Could we have more detailed units? You can indeed expect upgrades to Stronghold Next units in terms of visually. This also applies to the looks of sort of castles, siege equipment, your AI opponents, parts of the game you expect to see upgraded for a brand new installment in the series. Those will certainly be sort of upgraded from the previous installments. As for resolution support, this is something sort of we need to look into further down the line and we'll work out during testing, but we hope to support a wide range of resolutions for Stronghold Next. Ahmed Al-Wishashi. Did the studio at a point receive a contact from EA to buy the studio or the franchise or something similar? That's a really interesting question. You know, like any successful developer, we've had talks with, you know, publishers and other developers. And, you know, there have occasionally been some interesting proposals, promising discussions that we've had with other publishers about sort of working with them. But for one reason or another, it's just never happened. And we've been sort of self-publishing since Stronghold 3. But like, honestly, at this point, you know, I think myself and the rest of the guys at the studio, we're very settled and we're very happy. Dan P. Johnson, will we ever see achievements for Stronghold HD and Crusader? I think I've said this before, but we'd absolutely love to go back and do perhaps a Steam edition for both Crusader and Stronghold HD, as we've done with Stronghold 2 and Legends and Space Colony. However, at this point in time, small indie studio, not enough resources, Stronghold Next is our main priority. Peter Gowell, can you guys share with us some content cut ideas or those which were never shown in the final versions of the game? Or maybe there's some games that you started or even considered making but for some reason have never finished. Sorry. I think I'll save that answer for an actual video because that sounds really interesting. Miguel Chagas has asked an absolute bundle of questions, some of which I can answer, some of which I can't, unfortunately, Miguel. So first up, is the Squire dude with a book making a glorious HD comeback? Is it about time you give him a proper canon name? So yeah, in the same vein as the wolf and the pig, his actual name is the Squire. That's canon. That's straight from up above right there. Unfortunately, he doesn't have some silly background name, but you know. Now, due to the setting change, trying to be very ninja about how I talk about this, due to the setting change for Stronghold Next, unfortunately, it might not be thematically appropriate for somebody like the Squire to come over to the game. But perhaps, you know, a distant relative of the Squire could take his place. Either way, we realise the Squire is possibly the favourite character of the Stronghold community. I'll fight for you guys. I'll try and get him into Stronghold Next. Castle decor like flowers, flags, gardens, ponds, are they coming back? I really enjoyed making good castles back in Stronghold 1 and Stronghold Crusader, and this was a thing that was quite lost in recent games because it mainly focused on war and rushing aspects. So at the moment, we're not ready to talk specifically about cosmetic features for Stronghold Next. It's a bit too early. But we definitely hear your suggestion, and you know, a lot of people have asked for cosmetic upgrades for Stronghold Next, and yeah, it's something we'd love to include because, you know, it gives you a lot of detail you can do to castles, you can add your own personality, and just makes them feel a lot more lived in. We are focusing a lot more on the sim side for Stronghold Next, and adding sort of as much little detail as we possibly can in terms of animation and units and castles, to make it feel like a proper Stronghold game and to make you feel like you're actually building a home and not just, you know, a fort or a series of walls, you know what I mean? On to Weston Smith. When is the next world opening for Stronghold Kingdoms and what version will it be? Yeah, don't worry, Weston, we'll be continuing to launch new worlds as existing ones get older and eventually end. Aside from that, we have new maps planned and new types in mind. Now, these will of course be released less frequently than already existing worlds, but we know players enjoy sort of completely new types of world to, you know, freshen the experience. What I'd say to you currently is to keep an eye on the in-game newsfeed, as that will be the first place that we post updates for any new worlds or existing dying worlds, whatever, any world related business. The in-game newsfeed is your port of call. Ajim Gadgeta, I hope that's how I pronounce it. Can we expect some of the fun, humorous writing back in the games that was the charm in the old ones? And yes, for sure. Obviously the new setting means a few changes in terms of the characters and the units, and, you know, clearly be a new world for Stronghold. Or not a new world, but a new place in the world, I guess. We realise humour is a massive part of the Stronghold series. That's one of the reasons people still come back to it, because it's, you know, at times is a bit over the top and ridiculous. Rest assured, we're doing our best to make sure the new installments and any future installments will keep the same charm as the previous ones. Janos Zombat. Hey, maybe this question was answered already somewhere, but I don't remember it. So, what other games developed by other teams do the team play mostly these days? What's your favourite game of all time, excluding Stronghold and other Firefly games, of course? Like the M-Bit, good addition. If you do actually check out the Stronghold and Chill series, I do answer this specific question to each of our devs individually. At the moment, the main game is Overwatch. We also played some Team Fortress 2, and there was also a period of Counter-Strike Global Offensive, but that got a little too heated to keep up. In terms of single player, you know, I've seen little indie games like Slay the Spire. One of our devs plays World of Warcraft. FIFA as well, we sometimes play. And in terms of single player myself, my favorite game of all time, Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I think I've said that like 500 times before, but in case you still didn't know, that game's legit. Bud. Yeah, I'm not even gonna attempt this name. Will Stronghold Next feature the Byzantine Empire? If not, are you planning to feature it in another Stronghold in the future? So you're gonna have to wait for that game to reveal like everybody else. Sorry, bud. In terms of future Stronghold titles, that will probably depend on the result of the Stronghold Next reaction. As everyone knows, Crusader was a change of setting from Stronghold HD, and then that became our #1 title. And if everybody's like, woo, this thing's really cool, we'll be like, okay, maybe later we make another one. You know, if it still does well, but if there's not like an outcry for a sequel, then, you know, we measure up our options and maybe go in a different path. So it was another episode of the Community Spotlight. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you have any suggestions for future maps, videos, or content creators we feature on the Community Spotlight, make sure you put them in the comments section below. Now, if you do want to be featured on a future episode of the Community Spotlight in the form of a question answered personally by me, as long as I can answer it, make sure you head over to the official Stronghold Facebook group and sign up there, and you know, I'll put a post up there, you reply it with your question. It's easy, it's fun, it's inclusive, all the good things. I don't know what that was. And as always, if you like the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe here on YouTube for more Stronghold goodness every single week. See you next week.